America is under divine judgment and will face divine punishment because of us, the foundational Black Americans. It's no excuse for America not to pay us reparation. And that's why it's experienced so many COVID deaths. They say in Florida, COVID case in the last 2 weeks went up almost 1,000%. I said 1,000%. That's as it's reported. Now, America may not go to war with China, but it's not unreasonable for Chinese to make the preemptive strike. It already did with this COVID virus. It's no mistake that the countries suffering the most from the COVID are European countries. America, so-called United Kingdom, France, Italy, Spain, Germany. They are under the divine curse. And they have to pay us reparation. They give them a few days before they give up their very life. And it's no mistake that their birth rate is also declining. So you can see more devastation of America. It's already begun. Don't think that allowing us a few tokens here and there, like mayorship of New York City, or even if Stacey Abrams should win the governorship of Georgia, that's a few tokens, and three U.S. senators, where it should be at least 14. So we have to separate from America. We either have to find a place south, to move south, us foundational Black America, and let the European people, the Caucasians, move north, down north as we move up south. Because south is really up. They change everything around upside down. You see, like South America, you see the point. It's pointing up. Almost like it's not a peninsula, it's a point up. South America, Argentina and Chile. That's the point of South America. And the base. And there's the base of South America. And the same Africa. There's a point going up South Africa. It's a point up the top. That's the top. Now, of course, in Argentina, the point is very cold. And even in South Africa, the point, it gets a little cold at times. Colder than the rest of Africa. The base is North Africa. The northeast corner the cornerstone. And you say a cornerstone is where two walls meet. So the cornerstone of Africa, Egypt, the northeast corner, where two walls meet. So they change everything upside down. And you say it don't mean, it means a difference. It makes a difference. They have a map now which you could purchase called Upside Down Map. So some Caucasian people know the truth, and it's a buy and buy it. They're not living a lie. I mean, the Caucasian people who could make a difference. There's some Caucasian people don't have the ability or the motivation to make a map with the south pointing up. So north is down. It's cold also, and it's down. So it's down north. And the Caucasian people is coming from below, not from above. They're coming from north. This is below. And that do make a difference in your way you're thinking. And even as you move south, the magnetic needle, move south of the equator. The magnetic needle move from right to left. And north, the magnetic needle move clockwise. That's why all the clocks is following a northern pattern, moving from left to right. Even they have the clocks. Now the prime meridian is arbitrary. They have it Greenwich, starting at Greenwich. Some places in England there. And they have that as the prime meridian. Unlike the equator is scientifically based. It's scientifically based. And even our hair follicles, if we are foundational Black Americans with 4C hair, our follicles is spirals south from right to left. It grown out of our head. That shows that we are part of nature. So what am I saying that for? That was apart from what I'm saying about the divine judgment. These people now are murdering each other higher amount, they say, than ever in the northern kingdoms. It's a shame, father killing sons. Sons killing fathers. You hear that in the news. There is a divine punishment of America. And you got that brain dead President Biden and Kamala Harris. You can see the downward slope of America. You have Kamala Harris as a vice president. That's a downward slope. You have a brain dead president who's really asleep most of the time. It's Biden. So there's a downward slope of America punishment because of us. For those foundational Black Americans. They didn't want to really let us go. But as I said, you have to separate even moving south, occupying these southern states will be our southern nation. I getting ready to say southern nations like Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, South Carolina. Now I would like even through those nations, we are about a third, or those states, we are about a third of the population. And we've moved out of the cold up south to the warmer climate, more pleasant climate. Better agriculture, where you could grow more things, less cement and concrete, less skyscrapers blocking out the sun as it is in the north. And a lot of African countries think they're making progress by imitating the mistakes of the Western countries. Now, West means death in Egyptian mythology or religion. When you move to the West, that's going to the dead. They bury their dead in the West. That's where the sun rises in the east and it sets, so-called sets in the West. Now the earth, it's the earth really making a rotation, but it's a period that the sun is setting. And that's what it means, death. The Western countries. But they are paying a price. And we, like I said, we have every choice of that or move to Africa. Some of us, they say, okay, there's about 50 million of us. Some of us are going to move to Africa. Some of us are moving south of the U.S. But we have to find a safe haven for the punishment coming upon America. What's not to say that China will not make a preemptive strike? Because those who will win the nuclear war will be those who strike first. No wonder they have a black man as defense, so they could put the blame onto him for a nuclear strike against China. They have General Austin. And I believe they still have a black man in the head of the Air Force. He was under Trump anyway. There was a black man head of the Air Force. Now they keep that very quiet. That's a high profile situation. But they keep it quiet. I don't know. After I come up here, I'm going to research to find out if he's still the head of the Air Force. So they have a sinister plan going on. And even as I talk about it, it's not going to be stopped. China already made this strike with this Chinese virus, as Trump said. And what's next in their arsenal? See, they have a weapon where they can control the mind. They could paralyze someone. That's what is claimed. China's moving ahead technologically. And China's already see the white man as being dumb, that they could nominate. And if it was a fearful Caucasian man who seal their own doom, because General MacArthur said that told Truman he wanted to bomb China back to the Stone Ages, blow them up into smithereens. And President Truman removed General MacArthur from the command, from the Asian command. He was at the command over. He moved and brought him back to the United States. And then the businessmen, for some reason, have all their goods made in China. The headquarters would be in the U.S., but it was sending jobs over the factories of China, giving them jobs. While the U.S. civilians was unemployed. So everything was being made in China because the Caucasian, like I said, they're more like animal mind. Not, that's not a chess move, that's a greedy, stupid move. So hardly everything is made in the U.S. now, manufactured. Everything now is made in China. And the U.S. businessmen that did that. And you think the Chinese turn around, now China's dominated them. So you see how stupid they are. The Caucasian people, I say that is. And that's why the Chinese think they are stupid. But even if China or whatever do not bomb, the fire is still coming. Sun, the power of the sun has returned. The power of the sun, or the Aten, of whom we are of. That's why they have sent missiles, United States, and they report this. You know, they always make a small report, but not the headlines. They tell you what's happened, and then they bury it. They said that they sent a missile into the corona of the sun, what we call the sun, Aten. Why are they doing that? And they space travel. It's not for naught. It's not just for pleasure, not just for curiosity. There was a war in heaven, and they have all their junk still floating around. And Saturn, you know, Saturn is where they get their spiritual strength from. They went to the moon. They went to Saturn. They went to the moon. Their mental power. Now they're going to the sun, the Aten, their nemesis. Even Gates and those people try to block out the sun. And they're calling it climate change. It is a climate change. It's a climate change, all right. The climate is changing. From their so-called white supremacy to our empowerment. That's the climate that's changing. And they cannot change it back. So beware, stock up on goods. Find a safe haven in the South, out of the cold. Because winter is coming and winter is here. Even into summertime. Or go to Africa. Because we will get our reparations, for judgment is upon America, and you can see it in the coming days and months. Not even years. It's upon us now. And it's time, it's past time. So it is.